So the New York Islanders, a team that has definitely had its struggles in its franchise history, doesn't seem like things are going to be too easy this season for the New York Islanders. They start off the season pretty solid, having a franchise-setting point streak, and it seems like they were destined to be making the playoffs this year. It was almost a lock until they went on a crazy couple of losing streaks recently, as they are currently on a 7-game losing streak. We're going to talk about if the Islanders can crawl out of this and get back into the playoffs in this video. If you like what we're doing here, Goal Line Hockey, want to see more videos like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Let's talk about the New York Islanders. So the New York Islanders, a team coming into this season, it seemed like they were going to be kind of a team everybody said they had a good run last year, but they're not going to repeat what they did last year. They beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. They got back to the playoffs, even without probably one of the best players. I'm not going to mention his name, going off to a team in Canada a couple of years ago in the summer. And it seemed like the Islanders were going to be hurting last season. Nope, they made the playoffs, proved everybody wrong, and the Islanders were looking to do that again this year, as a lot of people were doubting the Islanders this year. Well, things didn't start off too great early in the season, but then they started to get things going. Probably by mid-October into November, the Islanders went on a franchise-setting point streak. I believe it was at 15 or 16 games. The Islanders were doing very well at that point, and it seemed like the Islanders were destined to get back to the Stanley Cup playoffs at that point in time. But as of right now, some of the teams in the Metro that seemed like, they disappointed this season. Teams like the Rangers, the Devils, it seemed more likely the Islanders would get there. But the gap is definitely closed between the Islanders and those other teams, and it's even made the Islanders be taken out of the playoffs at this point. So we're going to talk about the Islanders right now. So at one point this season, probably in mid-November, I had the Islanders at the top of my weekly power rankings. If you don't watch those, what do you do? Make sure to check those out every Friday for our latest power rankings. But basically, I had the Islanders at the top of the power rankings at certain points, or in the top 10 for most of the first half of the season. It seemed like the Islanders were doing really well. The Barry Trotz structure and system was all a go, and the Islanders were playing very solid. Fortunately, things really fell off here in the second half, to say the least. The goaltending hasn't been as good, and they just haven't been getting that clutch goal scoring, which we've known for a long time has been an issue for this New York Islanders team. Not to mention, they also are one of the worst teams in the NHL in terms of their power play and things like that, and that has been a huge struggle for the Islanders once again this year, and at this point could be the reason the Islanders possibly don't make the playoffs. So we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the season for the Islanders. So looking at their record, the New York Islanders this season are 35, 23, and 10. That's enough for 80 points, so not too bad. But in today's NHL, we got the Boston Bruins, who already have 100 right now, leading the NHL. So if you look at it that way, the Islanders are 20 points back of the top of the NHL. So in those terms, it doesn't look so good. The goals for and goals against, the Islanders have 192 goals for this season. That is the 23rd best in the NHL. You do the math, that's 8th worst in the NHL. So again, the Islanders' goal scoring has been an issue, and it shows here. Goals against is pretty solid, not as good as it was last year and earlier this season. A goals against of 193 goals against, not too bad. That's 7th best in the NHL. But again, it's just not good enough for the Islanders, and the goals for has been an issue. We thought the Islanders would maybe address that at the deadline, picking up one of those top guys that could be available. There really wasn't much for the Islanders in terms of guys available, and we know how Lou Lamoriello is. Doesn't really, he's pretty patient with moves. He's only going to make a move that he feels benefits him. Obviously, there wasn't too much out there. He did pick up Jean-Gabriel Pageau, which was huge for the Islanders, but isn't necessarily going to be the sniper that the Islanders desperately need. Looking at the standings, the Islanders currently sit 6th place in the Metropolitan Division. Yes, I was shocked when I saw that. 6th in the Metro. So you've got the Washington Capitals, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Carolina Hurricanes, all ahead of the New York Islanders. And the only two teams that aren't ahead of them, and the gap has definitely been closing, especially for one. The only two teams behind the Islanders are the other metropolitan teams in the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils, who the Rangers are right on the Islanders' tail, and especially with the way they've been playing over the last 20 games, that's definitely a concern for the Islanders. And the New Jersey Devils, since they've traded Taylor Hall, have actually had a winning record. So the Islanders really have not that we think the Devils are going to be in the mix, but the fact that they're still in the race, it's definitely got to be concerning for the Islanders. And the Rangers are right there. The Islanders are already out of a playoff spot, and the Rangers are still behind them. So that just shows you how tight it's gotten between the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Blue Jackets. They're all fighting for those last couple spots. The emergence of the Philadelphia Flyers over the past couple weeks has made things even tougher. And the Carolina Hurricanes are currently on a 3 or 4 game winning streak, which definitely puts a dent in the Islanders trying to move up the standings. So in their past 10 games, they've gone 2-4-4 in their past 10 games. So you look at it that way, the Islanders in their past 10 games, the positive, they have been able to pick up some points. They picked up points in 6 of those 10 games. So, again, you only have 2 wins. There's no really way of beating around the bush on that. But the positive is, out of 20 points, the Islanders have been able to pick up 8 points. So, considering they've only won 2, every point matters. And that's been very apparent for the Islanders. Again, a 7-game losing streak. There's no way beating around the bush. There's a lot of struggles going on with the Islanders. Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz don't seem to trust their depth. Guys like Oliver Wahlstrom, who scored a beauty in a shootout against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms earlier this week, didn't call him up. Kiefer Bellows, who scored 2 goals in his second NHL game, nope, they're not calling him up. Otto Koivula did not register a point with the New York Islanders in his short tenure with the Islanders up and down the lineup. Noah Dobson on the back end has been getting more time now that things have happened with Thomas Hickey, but the Islanders have definitely had a lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck, but you ask 99% of the NHL, pretty much everybody else is having the same issues in terms of injuries and bad calls from the officials. So those excuses, I'm sorry, are out the window. Some of them have been really phantom calls. That call against the Carolina Hurricanes, the Vancouver Canucks game, I think the Islanders played a pretty solid game against the Canucks. Both teams were very desperate, and the Islanders just couldn't find a way to get things done. Crucial, in terms of timing, that was a big problem for the Islanders, especially last night. We've seen it over the past couple of weeks with the Islanders against the St. Louis Blues, giving up a late goal in the final 2 minutes there, which it looked like the Islanders were going to hold on and pick up the 2 points. Let one slip away in overtime, so that was really not a great look for the Islanders. But they picked up a point in that game. But again, enough games go by where you let 1 point slide and it makes a difference in the standings. And that's where the Islanders find themselves right now. The Blues game, the Canucks game last night, they had to fight back in the third to tie it, which they were able to do, but just bad timing. They score a goal early, they set the tempo, and then they give up 2 goals in the next minute. So again, it's just issues that mental, I don't know what it is, but there's definitely some apparent issues with this Islanders team. They are obviously frustrated with the officials, not a great relationship with them. The Islanders are on pace to have one of the lowest power plays given in an NHL season in NHL history. So that's not a good look. It's obviously, you can blame the officials a little bit for that, but at the end of the day, you create your own luck. The Islanders don't have the puck a lot of the time, and that's a huge reason why they don't get calls. The more you have the puck, more times guys will trip you, cross-check, things like that. You get guys tired at the end of a shift, maybe, being a little bit undisciplined, and you get power plays that way. You're not going to have that if you don't have the puck, and for a large part of the season, not only in a game, but the Islanders have not had the puck, and that's made a huge difference for them. They just don't have guys that can finish. That wasn't apparent last night. The Islanders did score 4 goals, but you need a little bit more help up front. I feel like we've been saying that for a long time with this New York Islanders team. I know, we're waiting for Kiefer Bellows. We're waiting for Oliver Wahlstrom. But you traded a lot of assets for a guy like Pajot. You're kind of in a win-now situation for the Islanders. And over the next couple of seasons, the Islanders are in that situation. So we'll see what happens. It's frustrating. Down the stretch, this is obviously not what you want to do. I don't know, if you had to choose, if you were the Flyers, who may have peaked too soon, who just had a 9-game winning streak. Hopefully they don't collapse moving forward. Or the team that's just been on a 7-game losing streak, I'll take the Flyers' 9-game winning streak any day of the week. But the Islanders have to reset. They got to figure out how to get this done because they still have a road trip. They have to go through Alberta. They have a back-to-back starting tomorrow against the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. That's not going to be too easy. Then they fly back to Pittsburgh, back on the East Coast, before heading back home to play the Calgary Flames again back at home. So the Islanders' schedule is not for the faint of heart. The Islanders are going to have to find a way to dig themselves out of the hole they've put themselves in. and they've really set themselves back here down the stretch out of a playoff spot. It's not going to be too easy. That Carolina game was brutal. I don't know how many more games they have in terms of the division. I believe they played all their game against the Rangers, but they've got to beat teams like the Devils down the stretch. I believe you play the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit toward the end of the year, so these are games where the Islanders have got to capitalize and pick up points if they want to even think about making the playoffs this year. So let me know down in the comment section down below. Is it the officials? Is it the players? Or is it Barry Trotz, the head coach? Or Lou Lamoriello for not bringing in the right guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you think is to blame for the Islanders' struggles right now? And also, let me know, who do you think will be the Islanders? If the Islanders do get things going, who do you think will be the guy to do that for the Islanders? And will the Islanders make the playoffs this season? Leave those in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.